Can you see me now? I hope you can see me and hear me well. There has been a big technical problem with those who joined at the beginning. I just restarted everything and hope you guys can still see me and hear me. So whenever you have a chance, please jump into the chat and tell me that you can hear me and see me. I'm very sorry about that. On my side, everything sounded and looked like I was live. So I was like talking and everything, and I saw people in the chat introducing themselves. And Natalie says that you guys can see me. I'm so happy about it. All right. So it seems like I was talking by myself for the for the first 30 minutes of the presentation. So I'm gonna go back to basically what I wanted to tell you during this hour. I hope you can stay until half an hour after what was planned. And if not, in any case, there will be a replay sent to you all later today. So if you can't stay until the very end, you can see the end basically in the replay that will be available for 48 hours. I apologize once again for this technical issue. Anyway, so if you can introduce yourself once again in the chat, just say hi so I know that you guys are still here. And I will try to summarize a bit my introduction just to, yeah, try to make the most of the time that we have together. So the webinar today, I called it 5 Entrepreneurial Mindsets They Don't Teach at School, because I know that there are so many mission-driven or value-driven individuals nowadays who are transitioning from the corporate world to start their own impactful business, or at least who wish they could or wish they would start their own value-driven business, but there are so many things that prevent us from thinking that it's possible. And basically that is because school doesn't teach us to become, out of the box, innovative entrepreneurs. School teaches us to fit in and help us to find a job for a company. So when you want to do something else, then things get a bit harder, because then you don't really have the right mindset to do that. So during the presentation, you can ask questions in the chat. And yeah, I'll do my best to answer them alongside the presentation. There is a small delay actually between me and you guys. So don't hesitate to ask your question whenever it comes to your mind, so that when I go to the chat for the question and answer time, I can see it and answer it in priority. Okay, so let's get started. So basically, the reason why I created this webinar is for you to understand what is important to know before you get started as an entrepreneur, so you can do it your way. And as an introduction, I wanted to ask you a few questions. How would you feel if the work you spent most of your time on really matched your values, something meaningful and useful in line with your vision of the world? How would you feel is what you do while earning if this was what you would do, while earning as much money as in your former or present corporate job? And then how would you feel if, so you would build this while building also the life that you really want to live. Live wherever you want to live, be with whoever you want to be with, surrounded by like-minded people, and basically reach your full potential. This is exactly what we're going to explore today, and I'm going to tell you how I created this reality for myself. So just to show you that yes, it is possible, and then give you 5 keys that will allow you to do that for yourself as well. So basically, this webinar is for value-driven individuals. Just for you to know if you came to the right place. So you have strong values, you believe in sustainable development as the way forward, and you want your job or your work to fit with those values of yours. You are transitioning into from the corporate world into entrepreneurship. Probably you, like me, grew up in a society where you were told that to be happy, you have to have good grades at school and do good studies and find a good job in a good company. And even though you did all that, you were not happy because it didn't fit with your values. And so that's why basically you're planning or you are starting your own impactful business. And that's for the theory, because in practice, it's not that easy to do that. First of all, your friends, your colleagues, your family are asking things like, are you sure it's going to work? Or how what are you going to do if you can't make money out of it? Or they can ask, why don't you start that on the side of a real job and in the evening or in the weekend, and then when it really works, you can do it full time. Or they say, like, when it works, please hire me. That's also something that I hear a lot, or that entrepreneurs in general hear a lot. So in other words, they apply their fear of insecurity, their employee mindset into your project. And then you also yourself, maybe you ask yourself, do I have enough experience? There are already amazing things out there. How can I start something in this field? Who am I to do that? So this big career change is challenging your self-confidence, basically. And that's the root cause of all this is because at school we really don't learn how to become entrepreneurs. And I know that because I've been there myself too. So basically today I will share with you first of all a small introduction of who I am and why you should believe what I'm going to say. Introduce yourself, why basically school is made to format us to be employees and not self-driven entrepreneurs. And then I'll give you 5 mindsets that will allow you to create the change you want to see in the world. I will share with you real life case studies, and then answer your questions all along the presentation. So as I mentioned before, don't hesitate to jump in the chat and let me know if you have any questions. The reason why I decided to do this webinar is to be able to interact with you guys live. So don't hesitate to jump on with your question. I'm just writing something in the chat. Whenever you guys have question, please go ahead and write. I'll do small Q&A breaks all along the presentation. Voilà. Oula, there's a few typos in my in what I wrote in the chat. Anyway, I hope you guys understand me. So yeah, we can get started. As I mentioned before, I will dig into the topic of the webinar itself. I just wanted to introduce myself for those who don't know who I am or who just interact with creators for the first time. So my name is Solène. I'm French, as you might be hearing from my accent. I live in Istanbul, Turkey. And I've been an expat, actually, or what they call an expat. I've been living abroad for a bit more than 5 years now. So I lived in many different countries, in Japan, in South Africa, in Indonesia, Russia, Nigeria, and Turkey, where I am now. So that's why I like to call myself a global citizen. Like you, I'm a value-oriented person, so I really, really need my value to be at the heart of my work. Like you, in school, I was told it was better for me to become an employee, so that's what I did. I worked on, having good grades at school and then have a good CV to be hired. And like you, I got tired of that quite actually rapidly, and I decided to break free by creating my own business. So I founded Creators for Good 1.5 years ago. So I'm just gonna answer to Josephine. Yes, the replay will be sent later today. Okay. So just for you to know, at first my idea was to use my master's degree in sustainability and my background in sales and marketing to help social entrepreneurs succeed money-wise so they could grow their impact. I work online, so I have the chance to help social entrepreneurs in different countries, in Europe, in Africa, in North America, and so on. And at first I was doing just that, really the making money work for social impact. So for example, I helped a social entrepreneur run a successful crowdfunding campaign. She raised $7,500 in 1 month. Or I help another one find the right business model to both have social impact and earn money at the same time. Or I help another one negotiate partnerships with big corporations such as Coca-Cola to grow their impact in the region and then scale internationally. Which is like super easy for me. I know it sounds to many people like the hard part is the money part, but for me it's easy because this is what I was doing in my former corporate job. I was doing sales and negotiating partnerships. So in 3 years, I made my former employer earn something like over £500,000 British pounds. I don't know how much it is in US dollars and euros, but even more than that. And after 3.5 years, I was like, wow, that's a lot of money that I'm, generating for people I don't even know the name. And I decided to, instead of using my time and energy doing that, to do the same, but for social entrepreneurs who are making the world a better place. And while working with those social entrepreneurs, I realized that actually the hardest part is actually not to make it work, but to get started. So I met and also I noticed in my own network tons of people who could be great social entrepreneurs if they dared to. And I realized that I could have an even bigger impact if I also help people to get started, in addition to helping with how to sustain your initiative. So yeah, that's basically what I do now. And the other thing I wanted to say as an introduction to what I do and who I am is that when I started as an entrepreneur, I was in the most terrible position one can think to start a business. To summarize, I decided to settle in Turkey because I wanted to stay with my boyfriend, who's Turkish, who's now my life partner, and I didn't speak the local language. I'm still quite terrible at Turkish, actually, and I had no local network. Second of all, social entrepreneurship in Turkey is super, super small. And so even though I knew I wanted to help social entrepreneurs, it looked quite risky to start a business in a niche, in this niche here. Third of all, I was 26 years old at the time. I'm 28 now. and I only had 3.5 years of work experience. Plus, I could not apply to loans or grants or any other financial help because as a French living in Turkey, I didn't fit with the requirements of French banks or grants provider, nor with the Turkish ones. So basically why I'm sharing that with you is because I did make it. And for those who think like, oh, I need a network, or I need lots of experience, or I need a big untapped local market, or government support, or investors to back me up, like all those difficulties, they are actually just self-limiting beliefs. You can really go around anything and create the work that you really want to work on by starting your own enterprise, no matter what the environment looks like. And basically, so in 1.5 years, I launched my business nevertheless, an online business that I could start without investing too much money, and also reach people outside of my local area in any language of my choosing. And yeah, so I reached break even after 7.5 months. And by the first anniversary of Creators for Good, I was earning as much money as in my previous job. I've also helped 15 like-minded individuals to launch impactful social enterprises in 10 different countries around the world, and I'm very proud of that. In other words, I managed to make it work outside the box. And the reason why I'm sharing that with you is just to show you that it is possible no matter where you are today. You can really create the change you want to see in the world. And my goal with this webinar is to share with you the 5 success factors that helped me do that so that you can do that for yourself too. Before I jump into the part where I will talk about school, I just wanted to check with you guys if you have any questions. All right, there seems to be no questions so far. So let's continue and we'll see if later there are questions that I can answer to. So basically, the first thing I wanted to talk about before jumping in to how you can become entrepreneurs for good is to talk about the root of the problem, which is school. The school as we know it today was created alongside important industrial revolutions that have drastically changed our societies over the last 2 centuries. So I have to be a bit general here now for the introduction because I'm talking to an international crowd and we have many different histories, many school systems, but with globalization, the trend is about the same more or less everywhere. So industrial revolutions means that countries realized that in order to grow their GDP, they needed to be more efficient in how they produce things. So people were not expected to work on their own farms or their own shop and learn their job by their parents, but join a factory or a bigger company. This way, the country could produce things at a better productivity and increase its share in the global trade. And the school system was actually adapted to this macroeconomic trend. So governments reformed schools to provide enough qualified workers for its industries, which was the good thing to do at the time. But today, children still are taught to obey rules, to follow a direction given by an authority, to work hard. But it's clear that our school system worldwide is not aiming at helping individuals be creative or helping you find what could be fulfilling for yourself as an individual or how to collaborate or co-construct things. And so it's really an old type of hierarchy and an old style of teaching how to be or how to produce. A new industrial revolution has emerged with the internet, where individuals can find information, make their own opinion, communicate, and even collaborate with people on the other side of the planet. So the mindset have changed much faster than the government or big corporations can do because of their heavy structure. And thus we have a generation of unfulfilled employees who don't want to spend their life working for corporations whose only ambition is to compete and make money at the expense of the environment and of the well-being of its workforce. So there is a disconnection between us individuals and the system in which we evolve. Now, more and more people understand that the situation to our global problems, so global warming, but also wealth imbalance and gender inequality, needs local initiatives. So we can't wait for our governments or big corporations to solve those issues in a pyramidal, top to bottom way. We have to all be part of the solution as interconnected individuals. So internet is not only a mindset shifter, it's also a tremendous opportunity. It allows individuals to create their own activity instead of working for an employer. It has never been cheaper to start one's own business. And actually, if we were like 15 or 20 years ago and there was no internet, I would not have been able to create my own business. I know that because with the resources and the time that I had, it would have been impossible. An online business means no physical space, or like I'm at a co-working like I am now, no staff, no employees to start with. It gives a lot of flexibility. And then it also allows individuals to learn from one another outside of the traditional school system. With internet, you can get inspired by initiatives on the other side of the planet while connecting with like-minded people, like you are doing now with this webinar. So it gives flexibility and inspiration, which are the two main ingredients for creativity. So now you might ask yourself, okay, but how do I get started? What idea should I start? What business model should I choose? And do I need a team to get started? How can I make sure I will be able to sustain myself or sustain my family? Those are, by the way, the questions that I received before starting the webinar in the little survey that I run. And basically, there is one key answer to all those questions. First, you need to change your mindset. And you'll understand why in a second. But I divided those main blockages that we all have, including me when I started, into 5 different areas. First is team mindset. Second is innovation mindset. And then skills mindset, money mindset, and work mindset. Those are basically the 5 areas I want to spend time talking about today. And before I dig into that, let's see if there is any questions about the school system. Any questions so far? All right. Well, let's get going, and I will do a small break again in like 5 or 10 minutes to answer the questions that may come through. So the first mindset is team mindset. At school, we learned as an individual, you're nothing without a group. We learned that because in the past system, people needed to forget about their individuality and fit in bigger organizations, right? So as a result, so many people are scared to launch their own business by themselves because it doesn't fit with the idea they always had, or we always had, that as individuals we are nothing. And sometimes some people compromise on their initial idea or their true calling in order to have co-founders. The problem is it's more difficult to start a business with several people. You need 2 salaries or 3 from the first year of the activity. There is the risk that one gives up. There is the risk that if the initial idea evolves into a direction, then it doesn't fit with everyone. So it's like more money pressure, less flexibility, and basically it's to reassure you short term, but it's not good for the long term. So the first entrepreneurial mindset is to work on your own value proposition first. It's so much easier to collaborate once you have something to offer. So don't think team, think about your own value proposition. What you are great at, what problems you want to solve deep in your heart. Then you can design your own solution and collaborate with others who are working toward the same mission. An entrepreneur is really a creator. It's a driver. It's someone who takes initiatives. So if you hate working by yourself or you want co-founders because you can't auto-motivate yourself, then don't become an entrepreneur with or without co-founder, because you really need to be a driver, a creator. And then I also wanted to mention that there are so much ways to collaborate alternatively. You don't just collaborate with colleagues as you do in the corporate world. For example, I have a buddy, which is another entrepreneur who I meet with every week. I met with her actually this morning. She lives in Angola, and we share with each other our to-do list and the challenges that we face week after week, so that we can motivate ourselves, and it gives us some accountability. Like you would do with your boss, instead as an entrepreneur, you do that with someone who lives the same journey as you. You can have also partnerships with other entrepreneurs or other existing initiatives, but you don't start by getting married like you would do with a co-founder. You can start by doing an event together, or doing, I don't know, a collaboration in the form of a blog post, something, and then little by little, if you like working with each other, you can imagine other ways, more engaging ways of working together. Another thing that I want to mention about collaboration, you don't necessarily need to hire employees to have people working with you. You can externalize things, and yeah, you can, like for example, this month I hired the first team member for Creators for Good. She's actually she is my assistant, and I'm not adding her to my payroll. She has her own business. Her thing is to do administrative work. She loves it. She does it very well. I hate it, so I just give it to her. But it doesn't mean that I have to grow my team all of a sudden and have 2 people on the payroll. So there's so many ways you can interact and collaborate with people outside of the formal, team and employees type of relations. Remy is asking, could you write in the chat the 5 mindsets? I will also at the end, I will summarize it all for you guys. All right. So if there is no other questions, let's jump into mindset number 2. In the meantime, if you have questions about team mindset, don't hesitate to write them in the chat, and I will do my best to answer later on. So the second mindset is innovation, the innovation mindset. At school, you learn, or we learn, do not cheat. Do not look at what other people are doing. This is cheating. And once again, we learn that because the form of doing things and of thinking needed good employees to be able to complete tasks by themselves. So that worked well in that environment. But for entrepreneurs, it gives us the impression that we have to be super innovative and come up with, world-changing ideas to get started. The problem is it takes so much time to create something from scratch. And another, when you are innovation mindset, you look outside for what doesn't exist. What you really want to do or what you're really good at, what causes close to your heart. So the second entrepreneurial mindset in terms of innovation is don't reinvent the wheel. Apply what you already know, what is already working to your cause. Get inspired by people who succeed instead of being scared and seeing them as competition and looking at other things to do instead. Look inside for what you really want to do instead of looking outside for what is missing. Because there are so many things that can be done, but there are very little things that would really make you happy and you would be really, really very good at. Something else I wanted to say about this mindset is that basically an entrepreneur is putting his vision of the world into action. So if you don't know what direction to take, chances are that you're looking outside for answers instead of looking at your own action potential. So be honest with what you want to do, who you want to do it for, identify their most pressing problem, and then basically design a solution for their problem that they would be able to pay for. So there are many, alternatives to innovation. It doesn't have to be something no one ever thought about. It's just about recycling what you observe and what you know is working into your own cause. Let me check if there are some questions about it. All right. So we can jump on to mindset number 3, which is skills mindset. So at school, we learned that first you need to learn to get a degree, and then you can apply that in your work. As a result, too many people think they need a specific degree or long years of experience in a given field in order to create a solution or to create an enterprise in that field. And the problem is, actually, it doesn't work like that for entrepreneurs. We are all learning all the time. I keep learning about my topic and about my practice, and I keep improving what I do for my clients. It was really not ready 100% when I got started. It's experience that allowed me to learn what I needed to know. And give your chance or give yourself the space to experience. Also, something that is, I think, important to keep in mind is that your future clients, they do not care about your background, your degree, your resume. They are not employers, they are clients. They care about themselves, about their problem, about getting a solution to their problem. Now I'm gonna give an example that I really like, which is imagine a web designer. Imagine 2 web designers. The first one says, I graduated from the best web design school in the world, and I'm an expert in CSS and Java and A/B testing for growth hacking. This is the first web designer. He looks very professional, and on a CV it would look great. And now there is a second web designer who says, I can make you a website that creates a wow effect to your visitors, increase the number of people who buy your product or service, and that is very, very easy for you to control without having to pay extra every time you want to change something on your website. So the first one talks about skills, about knowledge, about CSS and Java and A/B testing and growth hacking. The second one, he talks about benefits and solutions to a problem, which is I want people who visit my website to interact with my brand. And I want to be able to manage that website without paying someone all the time. So the second web designer really thought about what is happening in the head of its client instead of thinking in a corporate way. And basically the summary of that is that you shouldn't spend energy and time on working on your background, working on, a degree, an additional degree that you could get before getting started with your enterprise. You should spend time on creating a solution, as creating something that will solve the problem of people who would then become your clients. And you always will have the time to improve your skills all along the way. So you can do with what you already have, and it doesn't need to be perfect to start making an impact. That's something I really like to remind myself, because we all are, authentic individuals, and it's fine to do with whatever we already have. It can really already create an impact, and it's enough. In the corporate world or the school way of thinking, we always think it's not enough, but actually it is. All right, so you guys are a bit shy. I see no questions, so either I'm 100% clear, or you are too shy to ask your questions in the chat. Please go ahead if there is something that anything that comes to your mind regarding your own situation, your own fears that you want to share, so I can address it. Don't hesitate. So let's jump into the fourth mindset, which is money. So at school, we learned that we would do good studies and we would get a good job and get a good monthly salary. As a result, too many people think about how much they can earn month per month or next month. And when you become an entrepreneur, you realize that next month you're not gonna earn anything. It's gonna be close to zero. And so too many people give up on the idea of becoming a social entrepreneur because of this monthly mindset. The problem is, when you're an entrepreneur, it doesn't work month per month. You first need to invest, you need to seed, and then only you can harvest. So the number 4 mindset, the money mindset, is to think yearly, not monthly. Some months you're going to earn a lot, and some months you're not going to earn anything, and it's okay. Most companies, actually, if we think beyond entrepreneurs or beyond social entrepreneurship, most companies, they calculate their income on a yearly basis. They list all the things that they have spent and all the items, all the things that they have learned, and then it becomes an income balance. So don't do it every month, because otherwise you will get really discouraged, especially at the beginning. I'm going to give you a few numbers about my own experience, because I know it can relax some of you. So I invested around 5,000 euros. That's around $5,000 when I started my enterprise. Plus, I had around 1 year of savings to pay my rent and everything. And this is what I encourage to have before you get started. In the first 6 months, I gained close to nothing. I think if we do the average of the first 6 months, I earned like 200 or 300 euros per month, which is of course nothing, but that allowed me to reimburse my investment. So by month 7 or month 8, I had reimbursed everything I spent for my business. And then in the next 6 months, I earned the equivalent of 2,000 euros per month. And there was even 1 month at 5,000. So it was still like 5,000, 1,000, 3, 2, etc. But if I look back, the last 6 months was something close to what you can get as a salary for someone my age. So basically, I'm just sharing you that not to brag or anything, but just to tell you that you need a bit of time to make sure that the solution you develop is actually, working and useful. And then you need a bit of time to let people know about this solution so that they can trust you and buy your product or service or whatever. And it takes time to build trust. So give yourself the flexibility to create the right foundations and seed before you can harvest. It doesn't work like I'm gonna, post something and then right away or pitch one potential client and get one contract. It doesn't work this way. You really have to have 1 year of time to really activate the processes. And on the other hand, I'm not saying you shouldn't pay yourself for years and years. I also see this mistake with entrepreneurs who's like, okay, I will start it and I will see later how I can make money out of it. No, it doesn't work like this. From day one, from the day you launch, you need to have a clear offer. You need to know who your solution is for and what problem it can solve and how much people need to pay to have access to this solution. This needs to be clear, but still it takes time before you get people to buy into this solution for you to generate an income for yourself. I know money was one of the most critical aspects in the survey that I ran before the webinar. So I just want to check if you guys have any questions about it. Don't hesitate to ask me. Also, something else, something extra about the money mindset. Don't hesitate to really put numbers, figures in front of this question, because many people say, I don't know how much money I need to get started, or like, I don't know if I can sustain myself without a salary for a few months. Okay, then write down how much you need, write down, get quotes to know how much it is to build a website or build the app or build whatever solution you have in mind, and then see if it's actually possible for you to do. Don't stay with this gray area of like, I don't know about money. Actually put numbers, calculate things before you get started. I'm gonna take a bit of water, sorry. All right. Okay, so we can jump on to the fifth mindset, which is work mindset. At school, we learned work is hard, work is difficult, it has to be a sacrifice. As a result, too many people think they have to work hard and enjoy only during the weekends and holidays. And it's a problem when you become an entrepreneur to think this way, because it requires so much energy and creativity. And if you are not in a mindset of like pleasure and generosity, it's much more harder to succeed. So long story short, the entrepreneurial mindset about work is basically be your own boss, but for real. Be the boss that you would have loved to have when you were working in a corporate company. In other words, don't work 70 hours a week. Take days off, take as much holidays as you really want, fresh up your mind as much as possible, so that when you work, you can focus and concentrate and take action that are really, really impactful and efficient, and you can keep being creative, because being an entrepreneur requires a lot of creativity. And you can't do that if you work like crazy. Or you can do that, and some entrepreneurs do that, but they create startups that are meant for them to work in for like 2-3 years, and then they hope to sell it for billions and millions of US dollars. And so they sacrifice 3 years of their life so that they can rest for the rest of their life. But I think if you came to this webinar today, you're not really in the mindset of startup. You're more into how can I create, a job that really fits with my values, and how can I create a work that I can do basically for the long run. So be careful not to burn out from the first or second year of your business, and it's really possible to enjoy work on a daily basis, even though this is not what we have been told at school. Once again, because school is made for another type of framework. So yeah, keep that in mind. That was like the happy mindset or the good news mindset I wanted you to have in mind. So as Remy asked, here is the summary of the 5 mindsets. I will just send that in the chat as well. Sorry, I'm just copy pasting from my notes, so it's not very well organized, but I will just say them out loud for you. First, work on your individual value proposition before you start collaborating with people who are working in the same direction as you. This is your team mindset. Second, recycle, reuse things that are already working and then apply them to your cause or to the cause that is close to your heart. This is an innovation mindset for entrepreneurs. Third of all, learn by doing and focus your energy on solving problems for your potential clients instead of learning theoretical stuff. This is skills mindset. Fourth, think yearly income to give you the space and flexibility to seed and then harvest. That's the money mindset. And fifth of all, don't sacrifice your life for your work. Make your work an enjoyable way to shine as an individual and be fulfilled while contributing to something bigger than you. And that's not money mindset as I wrote in the chat. That's work mindset. All right. So before we jump into basically real life case studies, I just wanted to know if you guys have questions about the mindsets. I will edit my chat in the meantime. All right. So I don't see any questions. Natalie says it is clear, thanks. Okay, so if no questions and everything is clear, I can continue. I actually wanted to give you a bonus mindset, which is ask for help in order to get out of your comfort zone. As I explained during the whole presentation, being an entrepreneur is really different from what we learn at school and what we see around us in the society. And so it's really about getting out of our comfort zone. And it's super hard to do that by yourself. And even though at school we learn like not to cheat or not to ask people to give us the answer, in real life we can. And so basically how it applied for me, when I started as an entrepreneur, I hired a coach during 6 months to basically help me start my entrepreneurial journey. And I would never be here today sharing all this with you if I didn't hire this coach. I would have been just too scared, and I wouldn't have known what actions to take. And to illustrate that, I will basically give you examples of clients of mine who I helped transition into social entrepreneurship and how those mindsets apply to their projects. And for me, it's important to share with you how important it is, or how super helpful it is to get help. It can be in the form of an individual consultant like me or a coach like the one I hired. It can be from a local accelerator program that there is in your city. Anything works. Just to choose someone or something that has a methodology that is tested and approved, so you can concentrate on taking action and you don't need to figure everything out by yourself. It's already hard enough to take action. So if you can if you know exactly where you're going and what you need to do in order to get there, half of the work is already done. And to give you examples of how this works, I have selected like 3 stories that I like. I see that time is running out, so I won't get too much into details. But basically, one entrepreneur that I help, she did a burnout in the past. I can relate a lot with that because I also almost did a burnout in my former job anyway. And now she helps companies to put in place happiness strategies at work in order for the number of burnout to decrease. So you see, instead of like looking outside for opportunities and things that can be done for the environment or gender equality or whatsoever, she looked inside to something that is very important to her because she has gone through it and she knows how important it is, and she became very legitimate to help companies prevent that from happening. So you don't need to look outside. Inside, you already have so many resources to take action and make a difference. A second example I wanted to share with you is another entrepreneur I help started looking for co-founders. When she decided, okay, like this job is great, but I need to do something better with my life. I'm gonna start my own business and I want to have co-founders, absolutely. And she found 2 co-founders, so they were a team of 3. And the thing is, she realized they didn't work as much as her. It was really frustrating because she was counting on them and she couldn't be like the bossy one because it was not in a corporate structure. So like she wanted them to take initiatives, but they wouldn't, or not as much as she thought. And so basically, they also had ideas that were going in so many different directions, and it was going really, really slow. Until the day she started something completely different, still in women empowerment, which is the cause she's working on, but a format that she can do all by herself. And a few weeks after, she was invited to speak at an event by an important association in the city where she lives. And this opportunity would never have happened if she didn't start her own thing. Because when you work on your own value proposition, then you can collaborate with so much more things than when you start to create something with 2 or 3 people, but then you want to go here and there and here and there, and it's just like not moving forward. So basically, the conclusion of this story is you are enough to get started. You really, really are. Okay. A third story, and the last one, because once again I see that time is running out, is one of the entrepreneurs I help wanted to have an impact by changing how journalism works in the Middle East. Because she's a journalist, she has worked in the Middle East for many years, and she knew that the way things are working traditionally is not good for the Middle East for many reasons I don't have time to explain right now. And what she did is that she recycled one of the fastest growing business model nowadays, which is online courses, for those who don't know. And she applied that to her cause. And now she has created the first online course for Saudi women who stay at home and can't voice their opinion anywhere, and help them to get published in international media, thanks to the journalism skills that she has. So in other words, recycle. You don't need to create anything from scratch. You can apply something that is working to the cause that is close to your heart. And I think that's, yeah, one of the most powerful way you can get started with your social entrepreneurship journey is to not try to innovate. And in the end, you will end up doing something innovative, but recycle things that you already know and things that you already see are working. All right. I don't know if you have questions about those. I see that Suhaimi is saying interesting case studies and stories shared. I'm happy this is inspiring. So I don't know if you guys have questions. Geraldine is saying thanks, Solène, it's very clear and good to hear. All right. Yeah, if you have any questions, I will stay online for 5 more minutes. So don't hesitate. I am here to make sure you can apply all what I said to your own entrepreneurship journey. Now, I know that when you get started as an entrepreneur, you feel super shy to share this kind of feels, and it's normal. It's yeah, it's part of our employee mindset to look good and make sure that people think we are in control. But actually, in real life, it's not that easy every day. Even for me, like after 1.5 years of entrepreneurship, I still have confidence ups and downs. Earlier today, I got super stressed with this webinar, and then when we started, after 20 minutes, I realized that it didn't work technically. So just to show you that it's part of life. We all make mistakes, and things don't always get to or go the way we thought it would. But it's fine. I'm still happy that I could share that with you all, and there will be the recording for you to catch up with the parts that you might have missed. And because I know it's not always easy to share your questions in front of everyone, I will basically, I want to share with you a special announcement. I'm trying to be as interactive as possible, but I know that you all have your own stories and your different situation, and it might be hard to apply everything I shared to yourself and by yourself. And for you to know, I used to offer free strategy sessions every month to something like 5 aspiring social entrepreneurs. But now it's going to be much more difficult for me to have enough time to do this pro bono work because my activity is taking more and more of my time. But for those who came to the webinar, or for you who are watching it as a replay, I want to offer to 5 of you, 5 amongst you, one strategy session, a free strategy session of 30 minutes, where basically you can share with me your own situation, and I can help you identify what are the next steps for your idea to become a reality. The reason why I'm taking so much time to explain it is because it's something that I will stop offering very soon. And basically in February, I will change the programs that are online on my website. I will change my services and upgrade it to something a bit different. And I will have to stop doing that many free sessions. I will still keep it available, but not on a monthly basis. So if you want to benefit from that offer, it's basically a good time because it's one of the last time that I'm offering it on a monthly basis. So you can apply on my website. There is a section called, so it's www.creatorsforgood.com/free session. In the menu, you can find free session. And there is a questionnaire that you need to fill out. At the beginning, just tell me that you are a webinar attendant, so I will give you the priority. And basically, the criteria as I have for the 5 people I will give free consulting to is, first of all, I don't care about your project or your field or the cause that you have in mind. What I want is you to be motivated. So don't worry about what project or how clear or not your idea is. It's okay if you have no idea and you still want to have a free strategy session with me. I can guide you to what is the first step to get your idea ready. And then I will also give the priority to those who come from the corporate world. So those who have already been entrepreneurs before, you have, it's not exactly for you. And then I will also give the priority to those who want to become social entrepreneurs, who don't recognize themselves in the corporate world and want to create an initiative in line of the values of sustainable development, even if you don't recognize yourself in the word social entrepreneur. As long as you're going towards sustainable development, what I can share with you will be helpful. Voilà. So I will send the link in the replay email so you can apply around there. All right, let me check in the chat box what has been happening. Okay, Remy says, in fact, I have a project which is quite opposed to what you call innovation mindset, because it's all about something that does not work today. Well, basically what I call having an innovation mindset and not looking is about not looking for things that don't work outside, but reinvent. Don't reinvent the wheel, but apply things that are already working to the cause that you have in mind. I don't have much element to go a bit beyond this answer. You say it's something that is not working today. Maybe it's about applying something that is working to another area. And if you want, we can talk about it furthermore in a free strategy session. Geraldine says, I'd like to share that I realized this morning I had to accept that it's normal to find things difficult with entrepreneurship. Yes, it's true, Geraldine. Like it's not easy because we are going outside of our comfort zone almost every day, and yes, like finding things difficult doesn't mean you have less chances to succeed or that you're not good enough or whatsoever. It's just something normal because we are not conditioned to go out of our comfort zone on a daily basis. All right, so Jaime says, just started a social enterprise called Enterprise with an A at the beginning, which adopts the work integration model. As this is new, I am wondering if there is any recommendation or ways to get support from the community. Yes, I see what you mean. Or I hope I see what you mean. When basically you are starting something that people don't know, and you need to educate your community in order for them to trust the solution or the format of the solution that you are hoping to implement. That is actually also what happened to me when I started Creators for Good. I inspired myself from the format of coaching models that exist, especially in the US, that primarily helps entrepreneurs to get started. And I decided to apply that to social entrepreneurship. But most people told me, it's never gonna work. Social entrepreneurs, like, they like to I mean, it didn't work in the world of social entrepreneurship. And so people told me, no, it's not going to work. But actually, I knew that this was a valuable solution. And basically, what you have to keep in mind is not everyone will be ready to trust your solution from the beginning if it's a format that they are not used to. And my advice is to identify within the people who could become your clients, your early adopters. An early adopter is someone that basically is a bit innovative in his mindset. For Apple, the early adopters are the ones who bought the iPhone 1 and queued in front of the iPhone store to get it. You have to identify those who would, buy into the solution that you're developing, even though they are not so familiar with the model. And then when it works with those people and they can give you testimonials of how well it's working for them, other people, the followers, not the early adopters, the followers, they can be like, oh, okay, if it's worked for them, maybe it can work for me. So it's really a matter of marketing your solution to the right people at the beginning, those who have an innovative mindset and that are not too bothered with the fact of buying into a solution that is new. And then you can enlarge your communication to followers. And I'm not saying, I'm saying followers. I'm a follower when it comes to iPhone. It's not not something that is, good or bad. We all are early adopters with few things and followers with others. Remy says, okay, clear, and maybe we could discuss it in a strategy session. Perfect, yes. It would be easier for me to really answer your question in more details. Suhaimi says, I see, thanks for the suggestion. We'll look out for early adopters. Yeah, and then you can have testimonials to get followers. Perfect. I see that you understand my point. All right, everyone, thank you very much for your attention. Time is running out, so I can't get other questions, but I wanted to thank you all for coming. I hope this webinar convinced you that you don't need to have a big team or to invest tons of investment or to have a super world-changing, innovative idea to create the change you want to see in the world. So you can really, create whatever you want to create by yourself with the resources and the time that you have, if you are smart about it and if you manage to get outside of your comfort zone. All right, and for those who don't receive it yet, I will sign you up automatically to Creators for Good newsletter. So every Monday you will receive a short video from me with one strategy for your social enterprise journey. Bye-bye, everyone. Thanks for joining.